You got a haircut.
Hi.
I do.
How's it going?
Yeah. Where's my mouse? This is life. Oh my god. We're really prepared for this, by the way. Yeah,
Okay. How so?
I don't know. Windows tips no longer a thing because there's no tips to be given.
That doesn't actually make sense to me. Uh,
Yeah.
I think this is something, if you use a Chromebook, for example, when they have every device in my room just went off at the same time. If you install an update that has some new features, right? The thing reboots and it comes up with a similar app. I don't remember what it's called. It doesn't matter, but it's like tips and it kind of says, hey, this is what's new. And you can say, don't show me this ever again. And you can read it and find out what's new. It's like a good idea. And that's something the tips app should be used for, right? We're getting new features all the time now. They must have a replacement. There must be something coming that will,
I like the optimism. I appreciate optimism.
It's not optimism. It's more of a dull dread that it's going to be like Copilot or something. Like it will be something, right?
Yeah. Which, by the way,
we'll
according to Windows Central, they might be bringing Copilot to Windows 10, which
is obvious, right?
So,
I mean,
I got a thought on this, Paul Thurrott.
Mm-hmm.
I got a thought. Somebody, probably Yusuf Mehedi, who is now running the consumer side of this, right? Probably has a KPI for his bonus or whatever that is tied to Copilot usage.
Oh boy, yikes!
And you're sitting here thinking like, man, okay, we got to get, I'm making up a number, 100 million people using Copilot. Well, there's 400-ish million on Windows 11, so I'd have to get 25% of them. Ship it to Windows 10. There's a billion people. I bet half of them, or whatever, some percent will use it, and I will get my dollars. Tell me I'm wrong.
I bet he got a late night call from Terry Myerson. He's like, I have an idea. Cook the books.
Remember that OS I shipped that people liked because it wasn't Windows 8?
Yeah. Do you remember that? It feels like it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, it really does.
It really does. Yeah.
But I bet there's
I like
that
the rest of the world is waking up to the OneDrive nightmare I've been talking about for the past month and a half. It's like breaking news. OneDrive is going to pull you before you leave to find out why you... Yeah, I wrote about that in October, guys. Everyone was like, oh, you said you exaggerate so much.
Which is still just one of the dumbest things ever. People trying to leave your application.
It's the Microsoft Edge strategy, just make it terrible. Make it terrible to stay, make it terrible to leave, It's the sign of a healthy relationship, Brad. Go to your bedroom and there's like a dead rat on the pillow and you're like, are we having a problem here? It's like, no, just use OneDrive,
A dead rat.
I don't know what
That's
just what I believe.
I mean, I like OneDrive, but this is it's a terrible maneuver.
Yeah, it is. It's awful.
Because it's, hey, you're closing this for a reason. Tell us the reason. Don't let us end it.
The people who have seen this dialogue are underplaying actually what's going on because tied to this is also you trying to turn off folder backup. And I think I described how this formerly 3-step or 3-click process is now an 11-step process that involves multiple dialogues on every single check you make, including one that is a screen-filling poll. Please explain to me why you're not using this thing. I don't remember where I write things anymore, but I already explained this in some article last month, which is, I've talked to 2 people behind the scenes at Microsoft who were like, yep, we're doing this on purpose. And we need to drive people to use this because it's going to be what powers Copilot for individuals. We don't have a Microsoft Graph for consumers. And this is what they need data. They need data about you, right? They need you to use as much of their stuff as possible. The new Outlook, that's why that's in there, even though it's not ready. All this OneDrive crap. This is it's about Copilot. All of it. And by the way, just as I concluded saying that, I heard myself and I sound like a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
Right? It sounds...
They're doing it for the big man. The data's, man. They're coming for it. Like that's what it sounds like, but I don't.
But it is. It sounds like it because it is. It is what it is. So I'm not a big fan of conspiracy theory. I try to avoid that kind of nonsense. But it does sound. I admit that it sounds like it.
one of the greatest interactions in the past 12 hours, which is, a real low bar. I was chatting with Zach Bowden on Twitter because he asked, does anybody know where, with those little backup things in OneDrive, it's like your machine is backed up.
Oh, it's not. There's no such thing.
Or whatever.
I also wrote about that.
But he was asking, like, how do you delete them? Yeah. Like, how do you delete them? And I said, why don't you ask Copilot?
Yeah. Why don't you ask me? Because I could answer that question.
Yeah. Copilot doesn't answer anything.
If you go to your Microsoft account on the web, right, account.microsoft.com, and I off the top of my head, I don't remember. I wrote it. It's in the book. I wrote about this in the book. You cannot delete or see or manage in any way individual backups. You can't do it. There is only one backup per computer. You can remove computers from your account. That will remove those backups. And you can go down to the very bottom of, I think it's the devices page. There's a thing that says it lets you delete. Let me say this correctly because this is going to sound weird. Some of all of your data. Does that make any sense?
Nope.
In other words, let me try it again. The Windows backup feature backs up some set of things. Mm-hmm. There's an option at the bottom that will let you delete all of the data for only some of those things from all of your backups. Does that make any sense?
No. Yes, I follow. I know. Yeah.
Right. Listen, guys, leanpub.com/Windows 11 Field Guide. It's already in there. You can go buy the book. It's $9.99 and up. It's in there. The question he asked, I've answered. It's in the book. I wrote about it last month. Like I said, it is amusing to me because I'm not always on the leading edge of stuff to watch people be like, "Oh, did you notice it was doing this?" or "What's happening?" Yeah, guys, I've been asking these questions and trying to answer them for like a month and a half, and everyone's like, "I think you're exaggerating the problem." I'm like, I don't think you understand the problem.
I think
I think it's interesting to see other people finally, because this is the attention this thing needs. It's terrible. So, there you go.
It just makes me wonder. You saying the word consumer graph like really kind of like lit up in my brain. I'm like, yeah. When you think of it through that lens about what Windows 12 is becoming.
For AI, by the way, we had this conversation before with personal assistants like Cortana. Mm-hmm. For it to work, for it to make sense, for it to do its job, the thing you want it to do, it has to know a lot about you, right? It has to get its tendrils into your schedule, your contact list, all that stuff. And Copilot's even worse because, in that sense, or even better, if you're a half class full person, because it needs and can use so much more information, right? The internet we've already accounted for, right? We're going to go to the internet. We get that. But for you personally, I mean, think about where's your data? It's in Outlook, hopefully, or Microsoft will jam that down your throat. And it's in OneDrive, right? Hopefully. And if you're using those two products, okay, here we go. That's where they're going to get it from.
Don't like it.
I know. Yeah.